One of the most frustrating moments in Excel is when you type something in and Excel changes it. Feels like sabotage. Today I'll show you when Excel auto-converts your data and how to take control when you're entering IDs, zip codes, fractions, and phone numbers. Let's set sail. First thing is, Excel doesn't simply store exactly what you typed. It stores everything as a value type. And by that I mean it stores it as text, a number, a date, and there's a few others. And when you type something in, it guesses at what you meant and then formats it. So let me show you what I mean. In this first example, we are going to enter 00123, and that could be any number that has leading zeros. It could be an ID, a zip code, or some other codes. So we're just going to type 00123, and I'm going to press enter, and you'll see what Excel does. You see Excel changed it from 00123 to just 123. And up here in the formula bar, it also is showing you 123. So Excel stores it. It looked at it and said, that's a number. I'm going to store it as a number. Now there's two ways to fix this. There's a quick fix where you can force Excel to accept what you're typing as text, and that is to put an apostrophe at the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and type that here, apostrophe 00123. And you can see Excel kept the leading zeros, and it looks exactly the way we want to. You will also notice that Excel has put a little green triangle in the upper corner, and that's it. That's Excel telling you, hey, there's a little note on here. And in this case, it's Excel giving you an alert, and don't be frightened by the exclamation point in the yellow triangle. It's just trying to help you and say, I think this is a number. Are you sure you wanted to type this in that way? And because we typed it in as an apostrophe, it says, I formatted this as text because you told me to. And it wants to make sure that you know you typed it in as text and not as a number. You can do a few things, and I just clicked on that little arrow that's pointing down, and you can do a lot of things. I typed it exactly the way I wanted to, so I can just click ignore. The other way to fix this is to tell Excel ahead of time what type of data we are going to put in that cell. And when you open a blank workbook, everything is set to a general format, and Excel will change that depending on what you've typed in. But we're going to tell it ahead of time we want this to be text. So up here you can see it's set to general right now. I click this down arrow, and I'm going to come all the way down to text, click that, and now this cell is formatted as text. So if I go ahead and type 00123 and press enter, it keeps that information, and it gives me this little alert again, just like it did before, and I'm just going to ignore it. And we will probably do that for most of all of these. And that is how you can make Excel keep the data the way you want and not automatically change it to a number. I'm going to do this next one. It's the same thing. Like this could be an account number or just a longer ID, and it has zeros at the beginning, 45600. And you see it changed it to 45,600, and again stored it up there. It's very similar to what we just did. So stored it as a number, and I'm going to do the same change again just so you can see it one more time. Apostrophe 000-45600, and press enter, and you see it kept that number. And we're going to do the same thing we did before with this. We're going to drop down to text, and then I can type 000-45600, and again it keeps the data exactly the way we wanted it. So if you're trying to enter account numbers or codes, maybe billing codes or account codes or zip code, you can set it to text and it will keep leading zeros. The next example I want to look at is a phone number. And in this case, I think Excel is going to behave, but just in case it doesn't for you for some reason, you can still do the same thing. So I pressed tab that time. It formatted it exactly the way I wanted. It did not do any math. It didn't treat this as a subtraction problem. So it's good. It stored it as text. But even if it does that, you can still use these tricks, 212-555. And in doing so, it again, keeps the same value exactly the way we want it. But again, just in case it doesn't, you can still do all of these same things. It does not affect what you've entered. As long as you want it to be text, if you tell it it's text, it will keep it as text. The next row, these get a little bit interesting. So 10-11, if say we're entering a range 10 to 11, right? And so I'm going to type 10-11 and I'm going to press enter. And you see what it did. It said, oh, it looks like it's a date. Let me make it October 11th. And by default, it said, you must be talking about October 11th, 2026. That's the current year. That's the next time we have an October 11th as of the day I'm recording this video. So that's not what we want. We did not want a date here. So you say it's stored as a date. That is not what we want. And we can again do the same thing. 10-11, or come up here, format it as text. And type 10-11. And there you go. Both of these, 10-11, exactly what we wanted. And it's not formatted as a date. Now let's say we actually want to put a date in here. And this example, typically you might see this as a month and year. So we're going to say this is January 2002. So I'm going to type Jan 02. And again, I'm going to press enter. And if you look, it said, yes, it's a date, but it did not pick the date that we thought. It said you must mean January 2nd. And again, in this year, it uses some logic to decide what year to put on it, but it decided to put a year on it. And I'm saying we meant it to be January 2002, or we just wanted to say January-02. So it date, but wrong year. So again, same thing. You say January-02, and it shows it as January 02. It's just January 02. It's just text. It does not. This is not a date. You may want it to be an actual date for sorting purposes. You'll see that when we get to sorting. And again, we can come up here and go to text. And we're going to say Jan 02. And it keeps exactly what we wanted by doing either of these methods, setting it to text formatting or doing the apostrophe quick fix. It gets even more interesting if you want to enter a fraction, like say 3/4. It changed it to March 4th, 2026 again. You can see that up here in the formula bar. So it changed it to a date. We don't want a date. We want it to actually show 3/4. Maybe we're entering a recipe or something and we wanted to put 3/4. So again, you can force it just like a quick fix one-off with 3/4. And then we get what we want. Or again, we can come down here, text, and say 3/4 and press enter. And both of these work the same way. The advantage to setting the column to text formatting is you can select all of these and you can change all of them to text formatting. And I'm going to go ahead and do that right now so that when I do the next one, we're going to go ahead and type 4:30 seconds and press enter. And you see it changed it to a date again, but this time it said, well, there's no 32nd day in April, right? So it said, you must mean April 1st, 2032. Well, April Fools on you, because that's not what we wanted at all. We wanted 4:30 seconds. And so it's a date, but you can get back control of this and you can use either of our methods, 4:30 seconds. Or I can come over here and type 4/32. And because a moment ago, I formatted this entire column as text, when I press enter, it's going to keep it as 4:30 seconds. And again, you have these little alerts that Excel's saying, is this really what you meant? In this case, it's probably slightly different. It thinks this should be a date with a year. we're going to just ignore. You can just ignore them, or you can just leave them there. I usually click ignore just so that those green triangles go away and you don't see any pop-ups, because if you click in here again, it's going to pop up that alert. Again, don't be worried about this. This is not anything you've done wrong. It's just trying to help you out and saying, hey, this is really what you wanted. Now, this example, we have a very, very long number. And I'm going to press enter. And what it has done is, this is scientific notation because it's such a long number. So it does scientific. And to fix that, again, you can, same methods, tick mark in front, type your entry, press enter, and it keeps it. And it's telling me here, hey, is this a number? It's a number stored as text. Yeah, it's not a number. I want to keep that whole thing. It's a bank account number or something. And again, because I formatted the entire column as text, you can certainly do them one at a time with the drop down at the top. You could do each of these one at a time with the drop down, or you can select the entire column. If you know these are all zip codes, I just want you to always do it as text. You can do that. So now I have the number stored the way I want to see it. But one thing I want you to notice here, we're going to jump back here for a second. Excel can only store 15 digits of data. So when you type in this number, it only keeps the first 15 digits and then it rounds. It drops off everything and gives you zeros at the end. So you're seeing this. This is not what we typed in. It dropped off those last 5 digits and made them zeros. It keeps the zeros, but it doesn't keep the 67890. So, and one last one. This one behaves a lot better. This might be a part number or something. It starts with the letters and it has a dash in it. So when you type that in, it keeps it exactly the way we want it to. And because it works, we don't have to do these things. We don't have to do the apostrophe fix, and we don't have to do the text formatting. You can still enter. You can still do that, but it's not necessary. So even though we have those leading zeros, it keeps it all, because the part number in this case, I'm calling it a part number, it could be anything that starts with a couple letters. It identifies it as text automatically because there's text. It's not just digits. So in this case, you don't have to do these extra steps or worry about formatting. You can certainly format the entire column as text to make sure that it behaves properly, but you don't, in this case, in this kind of example, you wouldn't have to. So the main thing to remember is Excel is not randomly changing your data. It's guessing the type and then formatting it based on its guess. If you want to control it and make sure that what you entered is what appears in the cell, the best way is to change the format, the number format, to text, and then enter your data. So until next time, I wish you smooth sailing.